Aloha everybody, welcome to the Hawaiiverse podcast, a podcast that supports local by sending each other Guy Hagi memes. I'm your host Kamaka Diaz, and if you're from Hawaii, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I had a prediction for this episode, it's that it's going to be one of the best ones yet, because of our legendary guest. Our guest today is a jovial weatherman, news personality, avid surfer, and host of Pacific Pulse and Cheap Eats. He's a husband and father of two, and a man who really needs no introduction, but maybe another surfboard to add to his already 25 plus collection. He is yours, mine, your aunties, uncles, mata, fada, sisters, cousins. He's everybody's favorite weatherman, and you can find him every morning from Monday to Friday on Sunrise on Hawai'i News Now. He's Guy Hagi. Aloha, Guy. Welcome to the podcast.
Kamaka, you got to come on Sunrise and introduce me every time before I do a weather report, man.
I would rather have Bruce Buffer do that. That guy's the best introducer.
What a gig that guy's got.
Right?
Fly around the world for the best fights and just ham it up for, 30 seconds before every round and then go do it. Awesome.
He would be really good at a wedding, I feel like. Right? I would love to have him on my wedding. So if you got any connections, let me know.
Oh, man, I wish.
Well, mahalo for coming on the podcast. I'm super excited to talk with you.
Yeah, I'm very flattered. Anytime somebody, notices me or knows me or even watches, I'm still surprised that somebody watches me other than my mom. So when somebody stops me at a market or something and complains about the weather, I just laugh. I just go, "Oh, you watch, really?"
Yeah.
Even after all these years, it still comes as a surprise, and I'm very humbled and flattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been around for a while, and you've had your fame, and I always thought of people on the news as kind of like the original celebrities or social media influencers, because before social media, before we had all these things, all we had was the news, right?
Yeah.
So the people that you see on the news, when you see them in person, you're like, oh, that person looks familiar. And it's different than radio, because the radio, you just hear the voice.
Yeah.
But when you actually see these people almost every morning, every night, then they kind of just become celebrities.
Yeah. I guess I think back to when I was a kid, too. I never thought those guys even existed, aside from in the tube, So I think people kind of still, to that extent, think so, too. You know what I mean?
Okay. And just to clarify, you're talking about like surfing, right? Not YouTube.
No,
for the young kids listening.
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't invented yet.
Yeah. So we'd only see those guys like on TV, right? The sportscasters, the newscasters here. So and you'd never think you'd see them in real person, So when you do see them, it's like kind of weird, going, what? In fact, even today when people hear me talk, that's what they recognize more than my face. They say, they say, "Yeah, I heard you talking," and I have to turn around and go, "Really? Is my voice that kind of weird or whatever?" I'm waiting for somebody to do an impression of it.
I think it's distinct because we just hear it so much.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I've been shoving it down everybody's ears.
Oh, well, we're not tired of it. So before we get started, I got a lot of things to ask you. I got to ask you because local boy, this is how we start every single conversation. Where you grad?
McKinley, man. I went to McKinley, and I was really fortunate. My mom and dad are very solid. They never moved around. We stayed almost in the same place. We grew up in Liliha, which is lower Nu'uanu, walked to Lanakila Elementary School, right on bordering Kalihi, and walked to Konakoa Intermediate School, then caught the bus to McKinley. So only 3 schools.
Yeah. Right?
And then after that, went to UH. Didn't grad, sadly, because I got sidetracked into a pretty good job, which took away my energy. And if that's why I'll try to school my kids to do different, but try to keep that goal of getting the degree first. And I think it's so important now to get that, But I was fortunate in that I had a pretty good job midway through my UH career, and then I just went that way. And led to this, kind of. I went to, I was in the surf industry for a few years. Yeah, quite a few years after that.
So because you were into surfing and like when you're a surfer, you have to really pay attention to the weather, right?
Yeah.
So is that what really pushed you towards forecasting?
It was very serendipitous, right? Because I was working in the surf industry still, doing the radio surf report that I had done since 1981, so some 20 years I was doing it. And then as you're a surfer, you pay attention to the weather, right? Because that's the only way you're going to find the good waves. So that kind of just doing, armchair weather studying, weather forecasting. And then some guy in the lineup that I knew, his name's Sonny Ahuna, was a longtime cameraman at KITV and a great surfer, said, "Hey, Guy, you've been doing the surf report for how long? Everybody knows you." I said, "Well, they know what I sound like, right? He said, you ever thought about doing a weather report for the TV? Because, we have an opening on the weekend. You should come apply. And I go, all right, sounds like fun, So I went and applied, and I just kind of winged it. Didn't know what the heck was expected of me. Did it. And that day, the guy goes, okay, you're hired for the weekend thing. And that's how it all started.
Wow. So
crazy.
Were you just pointing at all the wrong things, facing the wrong direction?
100%. Come on. In fact, if you watch me the first, several months, if not year, man, luckily I was in the morning and I was just messing around or whatever. The management either wasn't paying attention or had a lot of patience. And I kind of learned that way. But I was not something to watch, man, for sure. I was all over the place. I was probably hilarious to watch. And unintentionally, by the way.
Yeah. I guess there's no such thing as bad fame, huh?
I guess, but in
a way.
In that way. I mean, I have very supportive friends and family, and they're going, "Oh, you're doing good." I was like, I look back now and go, "You guys are lying."
Yeah, I feel like that's like every mother, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, wait a minute now. My mom, when I told her I got the gig, I'm going to be the TV weather guy for the weekend, she goes, "But you're on the radio. You have the perfect face for the radio." Right? Radio people love that, right? But honest to God, that's what she said. And she's loving and all that. And she was, but yeah, it was a little bit of a transition.
That's funny. Well, I love your personality on the news. And I think what people really love is your charisma and how true you are to yourself. And like, you really have that local persona, It's like, when you get on camera, a lot of people have to put up this front, or it's almost like acting, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, at least from what I see, and I just met you, and we had some conversations. It seems like what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I think that happened because of. Don't forget, I got into it pretty late, right? Mm-hmm. Because I had already done 20 years of working in the surf industry, and then I got into this, so I didn't have the formal broadcast training. Maybe the training that teaches you how to do, make this facade, this front and all that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I just did what I did, which is try to be myself. Mm-hmm. And I'd known Jim Leahy, right, legendary sports broadcaster, from radio before I got into TV. Mm-hmm. And he told me, you know what, there's two really rules that you got to do, you got to know in order to be successful. Number one, tell the truth, because a lie will always come back to you and bite you in the ass. So tell the truth. And number two is be yourself, because you cannot be anybody else. If you try to be somebody else, eventually you'll get found out and it's not going to be pretty. Mm-hmm. So I followed those two things. Yeah. And I guess it served me pretty well, because then I don't have to think too hard about, trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
You just wake up, do your thing.
Yeah. And then, I'm kind of half full kind of a guy anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why I tend to drive my truck till the empty light shows up. Because I'm like, don't worry, getting off.
I'm the same, yeah. It gives a lot of people anxiety, right, when that gas light comes on.
Yeah.
It makes life a little bit more fun, though.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
So, forecasting the weather. So, you didn't graduate.
Right.
Are you still considered a meteorologist?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so...
There's a difference now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious. Maybe you can explain that.
So, being a meteorologist, you have to go through at least a 2-year online course from Mississippi State. And that's what most of the TV meteorologists have. They didn't really study the real meteorology that the guys have at the National Weather Service. Okay, they got 4-year degrees and probably PhDs and all of that. So we rely on them for the forecast. Even if you're a TV meteorologist, you got the degree, you still are using the National Weather Service forecast because they're like the party line, right? Because they issue all the watches, the warnings, and advisories that we all follow. So everybody I got the last laugh on them because, they make fun of me and all that. Oh, your forecast is wrong and all that. And really, I got to go, that's not my forecast. Because the geniuses, and I don't mean this in a facetious way, I'm talking the serious geniuses up in Manoa here at the National Weather Service, they make the forecast. I'm just their mouthpiece and translator for them.
So it's like, don't shoot the messenger.
Right. Exactly. But I'll take the hit for those guys because those guys are the ones keeping me afloat, right? Yeah. They're keeping me.
You're the face.
Yeah. I'm just the front man for them. And I try to explain to everybody the fact that there's no such thing as a perfect forecast because the science isn't that good yet. the science of meteorology is still very young, right? Some 200 years old. We have the observations that we've logged.
Yeah.
So that's why, I don't take a whole lot of offense when somebody goes, "Oh, your stuff is wrong." But I defend those guys to a large extent, and I tell them that our forecasts are still 75% right. That's just what I feel and from what I track, and I track it every day.
Yeah.
But you don't remember the 75% when we're wrong. When we're right. You remember the 25% when we're wrong. That's just human nature.
I was about to say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just laugh and I go, that's fine. You can have it. And I'm not going to convince everybody with that. They just, they're just all right. I just let them go.
Yeah. It's a bummer that people kind of hold on to the negative.
Yeah.
And you could do so many good things, and then you do one bad thing, and then you criticize.
But then, Kamaka, I'm on the half full side, right?
Exactly.
Because I hear a lot of the other side too, going, "Man, thank you so much for that forecast for my wedding. Because of you, we know what's going on. You're spot on every day." And I know that's not true, but that's the stuff I hold on to, and that's the stuff I remember, right?
Yeah, and that's what we should do. There's so much positivity and good in the world.
Yeah.
That we shouldn't just completely ignore the bad, but just remember that there's still a lot more good than there is bad.
Yeah. In fact, I think just last week I had somebody that said, "You don't know what you're talking about. You're always wrong on us." And then sometimes, I feel like I don't even need to respond to them. I'll just let them talk and let them get it off their chest. But it doesn't really require a response because I know that they're off base, but I'll just let them go. And if they don't like me as a person in my presentation, that's one thing. And they're definitely free to have that. Because I know that there's people on TV and on weather and on news that I don't like. And I have the freedom and levity to have that, right? To have that opinion. And they are too about me. So that's fine.
Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, I just let that go. No, it's okay that you don't like me. But you also have a remote in your hand.
Yeah, right. That's...
why are you going to torture? If you don't like me, why you keep watching? That's what cracks me up. Because
maybe they do. They just don't want to admit it.
there are certain things on TV that just rile me. But do I watch them? No.
Yeah.
Why? I like to watch comedy. I like to watch sports. So that's kind of how it is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sports, I always kind of thought of predicting the weather like fantasy football predictions. I'm a huge fantasy football guy. And I listen to podcasts, shout out to Matthew Berry if you're ever listening to this, the fantasy footballers. And they can tell me, Patrick Mahomes has a great matchup against the Detroit Lions. The weather conditions are perfect. He's going to throw for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. You're going to get 20 fantasy points. And then something happens. Maybe, I don't know, he has an off day. He has less than 10 fantasy points. We get so angry because these experts told us that he was going to do really well. And then, look, here we are just soaking in our defeat.
Kamaka, you hit the nail on the head. That is, and I've made that analogy.
Oh, really?
Exactly, right? Overall, you can predict on the whole what's going to happen in the game.
Yeah.
He probably won the game. Did he do as well? Probably not. But it's the same with the weather forecast. We told you it was mostly sunny, a few wind and rain showers, a little breezy. But there's so many factors that go into that complex computer analysis with all these differing and changing weather factors that come in. One little weather factor goes off, right?
Yeah.
And then the whole forecast is upside down. We missed this little patch of moisture because the winds changed just a little bit. The temperature changed just a couple degrees. Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend got really mad at him the night before, right? He stubbed his toe going to the locker room. All those little things are the same, which play a part into the outcome, the forecast, the final score. Exactly the same.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that affirms what I was thinking. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's this quote that I saw online from you, and I really like it. One, because I like zombies. You said a hurricane is like a zombie. If you get killed by a zombie, that's your fault. The thing is walking 2 feet every second. A hurricane is the same way.
Yeah.
Also a great analogy.
It's sort of like that. I don't mean to demean the people that get racked by a hurricane because some people can't run away. Like, for example, the folks in the Philippines right now, they're getting nailed by a typhoon that's a Category 5.
Yeah.
But there's no place for them to go.
Yes.
At the same point, though, they had time to prepare, right? That thing was heading for them, and they had a forecast 4 days ahead. Okay, so if you're in the path of that thing, well, it's kind of on you. You know what I mean? You had the opportunity and the time to get away, and at least here in Hawaii, we have very, very rarely do we get surprised by a storm. That's why, you know, that Kentucky tornado, the one, okay, it basically destroyed towns. About 100 people died.
Okay.
It happened overnight. Sirens went up, but they had 15 minutes of lead time.
Oh, wow.
A tornado is not like a hurricane. A tornado is you know, the fastest moving locomotive that can just railroad you, right? They didn't have a time to and that's why so many people got hurt and killed. But for us, we're not like that. In Hawaii, we don't have those things that pop up so quickly.
Yeah.
So we generally have a lot of time. And that's thanks to those experts at the National Weather Service.
Exactly,
right?
the same people that people are criticizing. But it's also interesting that you mentioned the Philippines, because I think a lot of people living in a developed country, you know, we're very spoiled with these riches. We have great infrastructure. We have insulation, you know. We have these houses that are meant to withstand a lot. But when I was living in Madagascar, they're prone to cyclones, to hurricanes, all of that. And like you said, they can't do anything about it.
And they probably don't even have access to the information.
Or even, like you said, even if they do know, there's not much you can do. You can try to, I don't know, cover up some windows.
Yep. They don't have building codes.
Yeah, I mean, some people literally live in grass huts.
Yep.
I've been in some.
Yep.
So it's sad to live there and see that firsthand. I've been in a cyclone while I was over there too, and here we are. We're going to the capital. We're going to our safe Peace Corps house, and then our family and friends in our community, especially the ones on the coast, they're just getting wrecked by this hurricane. Like some people's roofs are flying off. Yeah. So that's just a good perspective and something to think about, like how blessed we are to live here.
Yeah, and you know, just like when we surf in really big waves, nature holds all the cards.
Yeah.
You know, we're just trying to navigate through, whether it's a hurricane, a typhoon, a tornado, you know, severe rain, you know, they hold all the cards. So luckily, unlike, just like poker, some of the cards get shown a little early. So you can know what you can do and what you got to do. And that's why we tell everybody, pay attention to those alerts, you know, and know what to do. Make a plan prior to hurricane season. We say the same mantra every season. Only takes one, even though we had a very quiet season that we were expecting and forecasted, by the way. It could only take one, you know, even in a quiet season. And then if you made a plan, you'd survive better.
So how do hurricanes get its name? Because it's always, you know, this random name. We're just like, oh.
Yeah, so there's a collection of scientists in hurricanes. They get together every year and they figure out the names 5 years from now.
Oh, really?
And people can
that far in advance.
Yeah, people can petition their name and say, hey, I want this name in and all that.
For real?
And then after a hurricane does historic damage, that name will be retired.
Oh, okay.
So you'll never see an Iniki again.
Oh, okay.
You know? You'll never see an Andrew again. You'll never see a Katrina again. Those are all out.
Oh. So it's like how you can name a star after somebody. I could send in a petition name a hurricane Kamaka.
It's that tight that type group. It's not anybody that can do it.
Okay,
it's not like name a star.
Okay.
No. And then so that's for cyclones. I mean, they're called tropical cyclones, right? So we're talking everything: tropical storms, hurricanes. They're all named under this umbrella called a tropical cyclone. Yeah. So if it's in the Eastern Pacific or the Atlantic, they're given this certain group of names, A through Z. And then they go to the Greek alphabet if they run out of those names, right? They go to the Greek alphabet like they did last season for 2 seasons ago for the Atlantic and East Pacific. And then if it's for Hawaiian waters, so if it forms in the Central Pacific, it's a Hawaiian name. And those names just cycle.
Yeah.
Yep. So what we end with last year, the very next one we start. Whereas the Eastern Pacific and the Atlantic, they start all again at A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there ever a season where it goes A through Z?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
2 years ago, the Atlantic went through and they went through the Greek alphabet. They had to go through the Greek alphabet. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Because once it goes to a tropical storm, that's when it gets a name. Once the winds get up to 39 miles an hour, it's strong enough that we give it a name.
Okay. So in here in Hawaii, do we go to the Hawaiian alphabet or the English alphabet?
I don't know how they picked the names because it's definitely not in Hawaiian alphabetical order.
Because we'd run out at 13.
Yeah. But it goes and I don't know how they do it. I don't know that part. But in some of the names, it's like, wait a minute, I never heard that Hawaiian name before. So if you try to look at them, you go, What?
Who made that up? Yeah.
Who, like, what guy?
It's like
gave
some
him that
people's
name?
middle names, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I've never seen a tropical storm Kimo. You know what I mean? You know? Or tropical storm Leilani. I've never seen something like that. I don't know. I think they kind of might have sussed through the names.
I think I've seen some chemos with green bottles in their hand, definitely. Shout out to our drink sponsor, Shaka Tea.
Yeah.
Some good Mamaki tea.
Love this stuff.
Yeah, first time
Never
trying
had
it, right?
before. Yeah.
Yeah, Super Ono, 0 calories, 0 caffeine, all natural ingredients, Super Ono. So we had our immunity shots earlier. Okay, so I have Instagram questions, and I usually get to it towards the end or middle of the episode, but I know people are dying to know the answers to
I'm
these.
surprised and flattered you even got some response.
No, I had a few, and some of them were pretty similar. So let's just go right into it. Okay. So, well, actually, let's give a little backstory first.
Okay.
For people who are new. So in 2014, was it? 2014? Oh, sorry. I guess you don't know. You need context as well.
Yeah. 2014. Yeah, I ate some food. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In 2014, there were hurricanes, Isel and Julio.
Okay.
Right.
I have very bad memory for that, but I'll take your word for it.
But there was these memes that came out after,
that's
right?
the double shot. Yeah, the double shot. I remember that.
So that's what happened when you gave this weather prediction. There's my pigeon coming out. Yeah, this prediction about these hurricanes, and it was off, right?
No, here's what happened. Here's how.
And I'm gonna back you up on this too because I heard from I got the story from someone else. Okay, so I'm gonna back you up.
So here's how it all happened. Okay, so I have a history of going on vacation and these storms violently approaching Hawaii, or severe weather hitting Hawaii while I'm gone. So everybody thinks that whenever I leave, something's going to happen. And sure enough, we went on a European vacation. My wife, the two kids. We're in London when those two storms are approaching. So I'm not forecasting anything. I'm off air. And all of a sudden, somebody texts me and goes, "Hey, look at all these memes." I didn't even know what a meme was. I thought, what? And they just started commenting, and I was floored by it. Yeah. But to be honest, to be frank, I was not here when that all happened.
Yeah. So there you go, people. He was not even here. But it's just so funny how that took off. Like the Huffington Post made an article about it. Like people were sharing it through each other, and that actually made you even more popular at the time as well, right? Yeah,
it was really strange, for that to happen because it wasn't a thing. Memes weren't really a thing.
Still pretty early.
Pretty early in the game, and then they just started flooding everywhere, right? The internet and all that.
The memes, not the hurricanes.
Yeah, the memes. And then I did a phoner from London to explain to everybody what's happening and how you with these memes and all that. And I went, I'm just flattered by them. I'm humbled that people took the time. I'm humbled that when people thought of severe weather, they thought of me, even if it was mocking to some extent. Because you can either be in on the joke or you can be the butt of the joke, right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna be just bummed every time somebody does something like that. Yeah. And besides, it's all in fun, and the people that do it, even if they were mean-spirited, they don't know me, so I don't give them the power to make me upset. You know what I mean? If they were my friends or people that knew me and they were giving me bad time on that stuff, then I could be upset. Yeah. But it's others like, that's pretty funny. I can laugh. I can laugh at myself, the weatherman, like everybody else.
That's awesome. That's a great mindset to have.
Yeah, but not only that, I honestly thought those things were creative. They were genius to some extent. And I was just honored to be the guy that was the thing. In fact, there was another local weatherman, name withheld. Somebody made a meme of him and said, "I'm blah, 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 too. I do the weather too, amidst
don't forget about me.
Amidst the flood of the thing. And I went, it was not my doing. I didn't mean to run you over, But I've been the fortunate beneficiary of it. And I think everybody, now it's pretty neat. And it's kind of weighing down, but every time there was a severe weather event, more memes would pop up.
Yeah, you're notorious for that.
Yeah, but I was hoping that, I was looking forward to the new ones, the creative ones, right? And
Come on, guys, let's get creative. Let's think of some new ones.
yeah, exactly. But they like to use the old screen grabs and change the text and all that. But I appreciate all of them. I really do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's awesome. Well, I love your response to that, and you take it with a grain of salt. People don't always meme badly. That was a very bad pun. I'm sorry, I had to do it. But they mean well.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. In fact, when I was in London, I was asked on the phone interview. In fact, I forget what radio DJ I was doing it. Might have been Ryan and Sam and Ryan. But they asked, well, what do you think about those? I tell you know what? When I get back to the station, I'm going to print them all, and I'm going to put them all over the weather office, just for a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. Well, you're awesome for doing that, and like you said, it is flattering because you were like when that happened, they thought of you because you weren't even here, right? I don't even know how it started. Like somebody just assumed, like, oh, this weather prediction, okay, Guy Hagi.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like when you think of greatest quarterbacks of all time, you think Tom Brady.
Whoa!
Oh, I gotta say Drew Brees too because I'm a Saints fan.
whoa! Go like pump the brakes a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't help but anything. But like, really, in a good way.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, just like naming one plate lunch after me or something.
Well, see, I don't think you. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you don't even realize the influence you have on our local community, and that's why I really wanted to get you on the podcast because you are a public figure and like the GOAT, greatest of all time as a weatherman. And I think people my age and my parents, people even that see you now, they think very highly of you, and that's why I'm really honored that you're on the podcast. But I wanted people to hear another side of you, not just the weatherman side, because you will go down. If we had a Hall of Fame, a Hawaii Hall of Fame for like news, like you'd be in it, and I'm very confident that I'm not just speaking for myself.
Well, thanks, Kamaka. Those are kind words. But I wouldn't be GOAT. I would be oldest of all time. I've been able to outlast, and I don't. And then keep in mind, like I said, I started in this business pretty late. I had already had a long career in the surf industry, which kind of, strangely enough, was set me up for this one.
Yeah.
Because I made a lot of contacts, connections in the surf world, right? And then that's where my credibility came from, in doing the surfboard for so many years and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think having started later gave you probably a lot more maturity and the ability to handle a lot of things that young people probably wouldn't. Like they'd get criticized. They have very low self-esteem. They'd just take that to heart and they'd probably get crushed by it. But because you were older, you're able to handle that in a different way.
Yeah. Also, too, I think it's the ego thing. I think when people get into a position of notoriety, a lot of publicity, so to speak, it goes to their head, right? But it started. I mean, I was already, well into, my 30s, so it's like, not a big deal. My name was already floated around, so I wasn't really fazed by it. I was still kind of, overwhelmed by it. But when somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, I watch you on TV," I'm nothing but flattered. You know?
You're just like, that's cool.
There's a long line for the restaurant. I'll stand in that line. I'm not going in the front going, "Hey, you know who I am?" I mean, I think that's so pompous. I mean, I can't see doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't try to use your public figure-ness. I don't know if there's a word for that for catching waves. For priority on waves?
No, put it this way. I get charity.
Charity.
I get charity. The guy's going, okay, like they feel bad going, okay, Guy, you're getting older, man. Catch this wave. We'll give you this wave.
So it's the age, not the fame.
I think is that. But, I've been out there. I surf someplace where there's a lot of veterans out there, a lot of really good guys. And to get a good wave there is tough. Is tough. So I'll take charity. However it comes, whether it's from TV or whether it's from those guys knowing me forever or whether they feel sorry for me, I don't care. Yeah. Because I'll take that little nugget and just feast on it. Yeah.
What's your spot? Unless you don't want to give it away.
No. Everybody knows. I surf all of them on a bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not people who come out there. It's it's known as the unfriendliest spot on the South Shore because the nuggets are so tasty. Right, the guys will sell their mother for one of those waves. Honest to God.
I've been cut off multiple times over there.
Yeah, but the wave is fantastic, right? Man-made wave because it was made by the dredging of the Alawai. Also, the dirtiest water might be of anywhere in the state.
Yeah.
Because you're talking the mouth of the Alawai. It drains out right at the bowl. Yeah. So, but that's where we surf because the wave is the best. I've been out there since high school. Mm-hmm. So I'm one of the older guys out there. Definitely not anywhere near the best guy, but I've seen the legends surf out there. Yeah. Ben Aipa, Larry Bertelman, Dane Kealoha, Jerry Lopez, all those guys from back then to the new guys out there. John Florence comes out there when it's good, you know, and everybody else, his whole crew, you know. So yeah. So it's good to still be out there kind of picking up the scraps, even if that.
That's amazing. I just don't like the crowd. Especially now, it's so crowded over there, especially during the end of the day. Yeah. I remember going to bowls one time and it was so crowded. Like everybody just kept cutting me off. And so I went over to like Rock Powell's left. Yeah. And I was so over it. I was like, I'm just going to catch this next wave that comes and I'm going to go right.
Yeah.
At Rock Powell's left. Yeah. Bad idea, people. I went straight into the reef, cut my side, board got all dinged up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough lineup to get into, right? And even for me, when I go out there, and I try to go out there when it's not as crowded, when it's crowded, it's tough to get a wave. There'll be no charity for this guy. I got to play the game that I know how the wave breaks and I know where the pockets are. I got to use all my savvy just to get one. But, you know, that wave is so good, it's worth it. But I understand where it is. So, you know, I just know how to navigate it out there so I can catch a few. And my quota is less now. I have less to make me happy now. Yeah. Less makes me happy still.
That's awesome. Okay, so we kind of got away from the Instagram questions, but we'll go right back into them. So, do you like metal? Want to know your opinion on the Guy Hagi song from Kepa Cruz. Have you heard? I'm guessing you've heard of it before.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, what's funny is Kepa is, and I've yet to meet him now. Okay. Kepa is a friend of Mileka Lincoln. Oh, so Mileka came up to me one day and goes, "Hey, my friend wrote a song about you, but he wants to know if you're going to be okay with it. He wants to kind of release it." I go, "Somebody wrote a song about me?"
That sounds cool. Yeah.
So I listened to it and I was like, "Oh my God, the guy wrote a song about me and it's friggin' hilarious." Because it makes fun of me. He makes fun of himself. It's got a great melody. I mean, and he's a Hoku Award-winning, musician. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
He didn't win it for the song.
Oh, okay, but
he
has a funny song. If you guys look up Kepa Cruz.
He's won a Hoku. Mm-hmm. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, of course I'm okay with the song. You know. In fact, my wife's friend has it on their ringtone on the phone.
That's so funny. It is a catchy tune.
So it's a catchy tune. He's good. When I heard it, I was laughing because it actually captures the whole essence of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Is that, you know, people like to make fun of me, going, "Yeah, he don't know what he's doing. He wrong all the time." You know what I mean? So it's funny. So it's really funny.
Yeah. Oh, great attitude.
So send everybody to Apple Music. Get it. Download it. Kepa Cruz.
Yeah. KepaKruse. Kepa Cruz.
I was on Kauai recently, and he reached out. He goes, "Hey, Guy, you got a board? I got a board for you, man." And I wish I had the time, but I was with my family, so I never got to surf with them. But that would have been fun.
I think people will go crazy if you post that picture of you two. The internet will explode.
I guess next time I go Kauai, we gotta go Pakalas, man.
Yeah, you gotta make it happen. I just had Jeff Hubbard on. He's from Kauai.
I love Jeff. Yeah. Good buddy of mine too.
Yeah, great guy. Very positive. Okay, so the next one comes from King Adam. He wants to know, how do you respond to all the Guy Hagi allegations? And you kind of talked about it earlier, but maybe you can just
you know, like I said, it doesn't bother me because I understand. But I got to tell you, and I have to be honest about this, it bothers my friends and my family. Some of them are really offended. For me, they think that it's hurt me, so they're bummed out. And a couple times had a couple altercations in the water.
No way.
I wasn't there.
Wow.
But then they're defending me, and I go, "You guys just let it go because I don't care. Yeah. It's okay." You know, and I told you why I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. But I got and I love all them for that. I love them for their loyalty to me, you know, and for how they defend me. Because my best friend is taken to, you know, almost getting into fights and sending people in. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you don't gotta do that. Just let them go. Just turn the deaf ear to it. Don't even pay attention. You know, but yeah. So I'm okay with it. Like I said, if you're gonna think that way, and if you think badly of me, then then that's fine. Mm-hmm. You know, you're free to do that. That's your right to do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with it. I don't let it bother me for a minute if it bothers me at all.
Cool. I think it says more about them than it does about you anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get upset about something like that, and then if you were to dig deeper and to find out why the report was wrong for that day or something, because they're not always wrong. They're, like I said, more often right than wrong.
Yeah.
Then you'd realize that, oh, is that why he said that? It's because the National Weather Service said that.
Yeah.
Well, then why am I blaming him? I should blame those guys.
Yeah. Well, people don't like to do the work. It's whatever they see and they latch on to that, and
Right.
then they point fingers. They don't take the time to understand, and that's why having conversations
Yeah.
and talking to people is so important. So we
See,
can
come on,
understand.
so I understand that, and if they don't, then I understand
Yeah,
it,
and
that's
then you're okay with that.
Yeah, then I'm okay.
Yeah, just a good life lesson to learn for the most part, that goes beyond Guy Hagi memes. Enjoying the shaka tea, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, they have 4 different flavors. The
I like
mango
that it's
hibiscus.
local too.
Yes, we're all about supporting local here on Hawaiiverse. Yeah. So, I want to know now, how do you balance everything from working, news, being a father, husband, and surfing? How do you do it?
I think I don't overload myself with any one thing, right? I mean, I have to make sure that my priorities are straight, right? My family first, work second, play third, right? But I got to make sure I have a good balance of all of them. I can't make do without any of them, right? I got to make sure my family's safe and happy. That way I can go to work and provide for them and do a good job at work because I know my family's good. And then to make sure I sleep well and my mood is good, I have to play, right? Whether it's surfing, golfing, running up Coco Head.
That's fun. Running up Coco Head?
Yeah, but running is not correct the term. It's just walking as quickly as I can up to the top, right?
That's a hard hike.
It's short though.
It's short.
It's short. But I have what you didn't mention is I did triathlons for a bunch of my time, right?
Nice.
So because of that training, going up Coco Head is very good. I like the pain. I like the workout, but it's short. But I like that it's intense. So with all those things balanced and just trying to make sure I have the priorities straight, everything can work out. Sometimes the play suffers, right? Because I gotta work out. I gotta do an extra bit of work, stay a little bit late.
Yeah.
And sometimes the work. If anything, the play's got to suffer because I gotta do more for the first and second priorities, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because because of where we live, look outside right now.
I know, right? It's beautiful.
That's the best weather on the planet.
Yeah.
Right. Especially right now. We're heading to winter. Right. Winter's going to start on Tuesday. I have no excuse not to go out and do something of my outdoor pursuits every day. Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to get shuttered in. Even I can
You
do
feel
something.
guilty when you're staying indoors with this kind of weather here in Hawaii. Totally. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. I hope people feel guilty because, I mean, I know everybody's got to work. I know it's hard, right? Us locals have the least amount of tan than the tourists because we're inside working.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, but at the same time, I tell everybody, you got to enjoy the stuff that the tourists are enjoying.
Yeah.
Like go sail on the sailboat the local guys are doing in Waikiki. Go to one Waikiki beachfront restaurant.
Yeah.
Go do the parasail thing every now and then. And then you realize, man, why should only the tourists have that fun? Granted, you want to do your secret swim at the secret swimming hole in the mountain. Yeah, that's good, but don't let that restrict you from all the fun that everybody else is having.
Very true. That inspires me to get out more too and do these things that they're enjoying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. I actually jumped ahead. I got really excited to talk about all these things. I forgot to do our local business shout out, so sorry for jumping around, but every episode we do a local business shout out, and then when the episode comes out on Thursday, we pair it with a local business giveaway.
Wow, awesome.
So this local business that we're shouting out is Protea Zero Waste Store in Kailua. Have you heard of it? Have you been there?
No.
So they're new. They only opened earlier this year or late last year. I kind of forget, but they're very new, and they're the first zero waste refill store in Hawaii.
Okay, what's that?
So it's like you know how people buy shampoo, they buy all these like laundry detergent products. So instead of going to Walmart or wherever it is to buy these containers filled up with the product, you can just go there and bring a glass bottle or whatever it is and fill it yourself. And it's better for the environment.
Wow.
Yeah, so
what a creative concept.
yeah, so a bunch of stores have popped up since that, but it's like I don't want to say it's a fad, but it's a new thing that I think that hopefully is catching steam, because it's really good for the environment, and it's a good habit.
I love the name of the company too.
Yeah, I mean, especially with just like they sell reusable utensils and all these other things. So the prize that they're giving away is a zero waste kit. They have like a tin box, a bag, some utensils, and a $50 gift card.
Wow!
So it's a really good giveaway. So make sure you guys enter that on Hawaiiverse. And the owner Lori wanted to give you a gift as well. So this is a Protea utensil kit. It has a spoon.
I have one of those already.
Chopsticks. What is this
Straw?
called? Straw.
A straw.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have the same thing made out of bamboo. I mean, not the straw. The straw is metallic, but the things are bamboo.
Yeah, so you have another one.
Thank
Maybe you can give your other one to a family member.
Yeah.
She said you can use it when you do episodes of Cheap Eats.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so mahalo to Lori of Protea for providing this giveaway for our podcast and giving this little makana for Guy.
Mahalo.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, now let's get back to the fun stuff. Even though this is fun as well. Love supporting local. Okay, so after doing, all this stuff
Is that with the
on
Instagram?
news-
Is that done with the questions?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we had a lot, but it was all similar stuff.
Okay.
It was all Kepa Cruz, Guy Hagi,
All right
meme
on.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have the deeper stuff. I like to get a little deeper than that. So, like I said, you had this, great career so far as a weatherman, as a radio personality, news personality. You even have your your video segments, right? GPs and the other stuff, which great job, right? You just get to go and eat places. I love that.
It's the plum spot in the newsroom, man.
Yeah, that's so
Everybody
great.
wants to be the guest host.
Yeah, if you need a guest, let me know. I'm really good at eating.
Okay.
So I just want to know, what are you most grateful for?
I gotta tell you what. I have a very loving and great family, right? We're talking my mom, my brothers, my wife, my kids. They've all been very supportive of everything I do. My wife especially. I don't know how she does it. She's in overdrive from the time she wakes up, and I tell you what, if it wasn't for her, I'd shoot, man. I would be living hand to mouth, living from paycheck to paycheck. Driving an old junky car. My surfboards would be all out of whack. I'm telling you what, she has so much energy and so much love in her heart for everything that she does, that I'm really appreciative for her especially, but for my entire family. I think more than anything else.
Yeah, shout out to Kim.
Yeah.
A lot of people know her. They grew up watching her as well.
Yeah,
power
she
couple
was
right there.
Yeah, she was my weather idol before I even got into TV. She was already in TV.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Can you tell us the story? I love like how couple meet stories. I don't know if there's a better word for that, but I'm just gonna say it like that.
Okay, so she was on TV before me, right? Mm-hmm. But when I got into TV, I was doing the morning show. I was doing weather. She was doing weather at night. Mm-hmm. So I knew of her. I don't know if she even knew who I was, because I was in the morning. When you're in the nighttime, you're working till 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So you're not waking up to watch the guy at 5 o'clock, right? I mean, no way. Yeah. Plus, to on another station. So anyway, the National Weather Service does briefings up in Manoa at their office for all the weather people a couple times a year. So I go into the thing, first time I've ever been to a briefing, and there's not many seats, and I get there late, of course. So I get there, I sit down, I'm sitting next to Kim Janala. I'm like, Kim Janala.
Yeah, she's also an actress, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I met her then, and then so we were competing for a while, but not competing, just on different stations, right?
That just reminded me of Anchorman. You know how they're kind of.
Yeah. But there was no attraction. I mean, she was with somebody, I was with somebody. Like, not a big deal. Like, oh, you're Kim Janal. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was older already. You know what I mean? I'm not trolling or anything. You know what I mean? Trying to pick up anybody. So I was like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then we went on a media trip together, and we got seated together on the plane because she's G, I'm H. We just got seated together. Mm-hmm. But I'm coming off the morning show. I can't see straight, right? I'm just trying to go to sleep. She's just come off her show. It's a red-eye flight. She's just come off her show, and you're pumped. You know, you got adrenaline. You still got to come down. Yeah. So we sit next together. I'm trying to go to sleep for this little snowboard trip for media only, and it was only a couple days. And I'm going because it's a surf thing, man. I'm going to just go out there, go surf, get some, just go ride really hard and come back home.
Yeah.
But she's going up there because it's a break for her. It's the weekend and all that. So then she was just talking in my ear on the plane, and I can't see straight. So next thing I know, it's like, okay, so I'll meet you back in Honolulu, and we're going out, right? And I went, yeah, okay, yeah. And that's just how it happened.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah. So and then we got together. We had a lot in common, and next thing you know, it's 2 kids and a house and and a career later. So
how many years have you been married?
So we've been married. So it's 20. We've been married 20 years. 20 years, yeah. 2 kids,
Congrats.
one actually going on 21 because Luke is 19. Yeah, so Luke was born a year and a half after we were married. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. What do your kids think of you? Or like what? I'm sure they hear it from their friends or like other people like, "Oh yeah, you're Guy Hagi's son or daughter."
Yeah. I think it's been kind of a little bit of both because they've had to deal with the downside too, right? With that negative side that I don't have, that I've learned how to deal with. So they've had to learn how to deal with that. But they seem to take it kind of funny. They deal with me like I'm a cartoon character at sometimes, right? Like, oh, you don't know about this. Oh, you got this meme and all this. And other times they're trying to show me off to their friends. It's like really a strange thing.
I think that's like a kid thing. It's like we only call our parents when we need something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So they deal with me on different levels. So it's pretty funny. But they realize that also it's come with a few perks and privileges, especially because they're surfers. So they've been able to meet and hang out with the top names in the sport.
Wow.
Like my daughter at one point went through like a kind of a fangirl stage with all the surfers, like the Cora Rothmans, the Eli Olsens, the John Florences. And I went to, social events with with them and seeing, meeting them. And like, hey, Cora, can you go take a picture with my daughter? And she's like, oh my God, it's Cora. You know what I mean? And she's like all fangirling, and Cora's going, sure, no problem, man. So she realizes how privileged it was because now that she's off in college and part of a surf club with the college, with mainland kids, and she's going, yeah, I know Cora Rothman. Yeah, I know Eli Olsen. Yeah, I met John Florence. And they're going, not? She goes, here's the picture,
Wow.
And then she realizes and appreciates that, well, your dad's got some kind of, in for that. So it's been pretty neat. And my son, who's taken advantage of, learning lessons and getting coached by some of the best guys and all that too. So that's the nice part about being Guy Hagi's kids. Yeah.
Well, get you a father like Guy Hagi.
Well, I don't know about that. Possible. I don't know about that. But yeah, and I take them surfing, and all that. Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah. So you're really family oriented.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
it's a Hawaii thing.
Yeah, and then it is a Hawaii thing. But I think once you're a parent, you get way more joy out of their joy than your own.
Yeah.
So it's better that they catch the wave than I catch the wave. You know what I mean?
You become less selfish.
Yeah, less selfish. But it's good when we go out and it's pretty good size and I catch a wave.
Yeah.
And they go, oh yeah, he still knows what he's doing. You know what I mean?
You gotta keep him in check once in a while.
Yeah. Like nobody will ever mistake me for a professional. Kamaka. Nobody. Even my friends go, yeah, he's a decent surfer. That's about it. But at least I can hold my own and not look like a kook out there.
That's all what we're trying to avoid, just not looking like a kook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is something that you wish people knew about you that they don't?
I think that I probably am more local than they think, only because of the way I speak. But they also should know that there's an internal struggle, like probably with you, with the proper English guy and the pidgin guy.
Enunciation.
Yes. Getting the emphasis on the right syllable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my mom, I had a mom who's in white collar management. My dad, blue collar labor, right? So my dad, pigeon all day long, super deep. My mom, very, very successful in the business world, where pigeon is just not a thing, right? So she came home speaking like this. My dad came home speaking like that. They met in the middle, and then you got me.
Yeah.
But then you got my two brothers. They speak pigeon because they're blue collar, they're house painters, and they work hard and they're good at it. But when they talk, my wife's got to go, what did they say? There's some translation that's got to happen.
Yeah, I think it comes out when you're around people. Like this
for sure.
professional setting, you have to be proper. We
100%.
have to speak. And some people just I don't naturally speak pigeon. It's just I grew up around it, but my household where not proper, but it's like we don't have strong pigeon accents.
Yeah.
But when I'm around some friends or some uncles I meet, and it just naturally comes out with certain words and everything.
Yeah. So I think going back to your question, I think that's it. If I think people should know that I'm way more local than the way I speak. In fact, what's really funny is it depends who I'm around. Like when I go surf Makaha and I see Brian Keolana,
you gotta pump up the pigeon.
Yeah, but it's just like it's not an intentional thing. Yeah. It's just that you're going to communicate how everybody else is communicating. Yeah. But then when we travel to the mainland, you don't hear pigeon at all. Yeah. When I'm around my in-laws in Arizona, right? So.
Yeah, well, I think it's code switching, right? Where you kind of just, so say like I lived in Australia for 10 years and maybe I'll pick up an Australian accent or I'll say things just like that. And it's always impressive when people that come here to live, they pick up a really good pigeon accent.
The pigeon's hard, man.
Yes, it is.
Pigeon's difficult.
It's an official language.
Yeah, but then when somebody comes here and tries it, it normally sounds pretty bad.
Yes.
It's hard to do.
If you don't speak it naturally, people are gonna know.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard, or
and then it just sounds
off.
really weird.
Yeah.
Like which coach did that recently? He got hired at LSU, and all of a sudden he was speaking pigeon, like speaking Cajun, like dude.
Yeah.
And he was getting roasted for that too. So.
Yeah, it's funny because growing up here in Hawaii, there's this pressure to be local, to serve, to be tan, to even have a nice body. There's like these image conscious people always trying to fit in. Yeah. And even with pigeon, like you don't feel like you're local enough just because you speak it. So it's we have it rough here in Hawaii too, okay? It's not all rainbow and sunshines and waterfalls.
Yeah, we got to deal with some thunderstorms every now and then.
Yeah,
not a lot, but some.
Yeah. So, what is your vision for the future for yourself in Hawaii?
I think that just navigating my kids through college and getting them on their own 2 feet, I think that's whatever I got to do to make sure that happens. So, which means being successful in my job. I don't have, designs on moving, although, with the way the economy is going and with the way housing is going, I don't know, man. It's getting really, really rough to think about retiring here. Mm-hmm. Although I can't imagine retiring anywhere else. So it's that dilemma that I'm looking at. So hopefully I can. But then again, they haven't done a good job in the rail. They haven't done a good job in regulating the population and the development and the cars and all of that, right? It's just more money, more houses, more roads. So, we're like this in this aquarium that they keep on throwing fish and aquarium toys in, right? The aquarium's overloaded already. Yeah. How you going to put more cars in there? How you going to put more people in there? I don't know how you limit it with the freedoms that we are allowed to have. I don't have the answers, but at the same time, I just kind of don't like where it's going. So do I run away to somewhere else? I don't know. I don't know. Because obviously growing up here, I'm not going to be satisfied with weather anywhere else.
Yeah. We're spoiled here.
Yeah. I mean, I want snow when I want snow, but I don't want to live in it.
Yeah.
I want to play in it. I want to snowboard in it, but that's about it. Do I want Las Vegas in the summer? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to visit San Francisco. It's beautiful. I can take the cold for the time I'm there. Do I live there? I don't think so. So I don't know. The long-term vision is still a little bit murky, and that's why I rely on my wife, who's got a great vision for the future. Whatever she wants to go, wherever she wants the canoe to go, I'll be paddling. She'll be steering. It's going to be like that.
You're a good husband.
Yeah. Well, she's studly. You know, she spent time on the Hokulea, the Hokulea on a voyage in Alaskan waters, sleeping in the hull. That's tough and rugged. So yeah. So wherever she wants to point the boat, I'll paddle that way.
Yeah. We talked about traveling before we started recording and the benefits of it, and you know how people should get out and see the world. And coming from here and growing up here, I feel like it almost kind of ruined everywhere else for you, because like we have some of the most beautiful things, right? Like the best weather in the world, and even like unbelievable mountain ranges, waterfalls, and clear water. A lot of places it's dirty, murky water. So I remember traveling to some places, even in Madagascar, we went to like this waterfall, and it's like small, tiny waterfall. My friends from the continental United States, they're like, "Wow, this is amazing! This is so cool!" And I'm like, "Yeah. It's like
good on you.
20 feet, cool."
Yeah, especially if you're coming from Hilo side, man. They do waterfalls right.
Yep. Come visit. Yeah, but it's funny, when you...
Yeah, it's hard because, you know, like my daughter had to make that adjustment. Okay, she's in, Orange County now. So she had to buy a wetsuit. She had to learn how to surf in water that's very cold for what she's used to. And the water's murky all the time. And the waves are not as good. But I'm glad that she persevered, and she's surfing with the club now. So it's good. You know, she has some arrogance about her, going, "Well, I come from Hawaii." Like, well, don't do that. You know, but still, you know, there's that haughtiness of like, "Oh, I know what surf is." You know, you guys don't know. Yeah. But at the same time, that makes it hard for us. You're right. We're kind of at a handicap because we're coming from so high up, and every place else is kind of like, you know.
Yeah, and we don't want to seem arrogant. And I have a funny story about that. Just like your daughter, I was studying abroad in Spain in college, and we took a trip to Portugal for the weekend, and
which is wonderful, by the way.
It's amazing. Yeah. Then there's this place, and you could surf. You could rent a surfboard. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Hawaii." I actually didn't surf that much back then, but you know, you don't want to be in front of all these people and be like, "Yeah, I don't know how to surf," even though I'm from Hawaii. Yeah. So you know, I tried to play the part. But I went there, and they said, "Oh, do you want a wetsuit or rash guard?" And I'm like, "No, I'm from Hawaii." And then I go there. It was so cold. I just got wrecked. I was freezing. I ended up catching a cold. And then, that's part of that arrogance where we're just like, we don't need a wetsuit. And we're just not used to being in something that's not warm and clear.
So that's why, you know, this might come as a surprise to people, but I haven't traveled to surf.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I worked in the surf industry, so I've surfed, you know, a few spots on the West Coast, down in Mexico as well. But I've never traveled to surf. We're talking these places in Indonesia, places in Australia, Bali, all of that. Fiji. I've never gone. Why haven't you gone? Well, because with the limited funds that I've had throughout my life for vacation, I go snowboarding. Because I got Ala Moana Bowl in the summertime, right? I got the North Shore in the wintertime. Why would I travel to surf? I get great waves, some of the best waves that people around the world die for, right? So I never traveled to surf, you know. But my son, on the other hand, is going, okay, so when are we going to Bali? When are we going to Fiji? We're gonna go. So, but it's kind of late for me. But at the same time, he's still young, and you know his future. So I think that's the next thing is we want to travel on a surf trip. So really hopefully, and it was supposed to happen this past summer. COVID killed that. So hopefully it'll happen this next summer.
Okay. Well, the sun kills COVID. Get that vitamin D. I don't know if that's science, but just don't look it up. Yeah, well, that's really cool. So what would be the location? Is it Bali? Is it Indonesia?
Actually, you know, the Mentawais and Indonesia look awesome, but that's a pain to get to, okay? You're 2.5 days before you're in the water, right? So Fiji looks really good to me. Fiji is 6 hours away.
Yeah.
Fantastic waves. Not a lot of surf spots, but very consistent, warm water, clear water, a lot to do other than surfing. And so I think Fiji's the goal for us.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would just encourage everybody to, you know, just travel, just not even for surf, or just to see new places, meet new people. And,
look what it's done to you.
I'm very blessed. Yeah, I use that student loan money to travel.
That was smart though.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know where I would be with everything, my opinions, my outlook, my my personality without the traveling that I've done. Right?
And did you travel at an early age?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. I traveled again with my wife coming on the scene. Because prior to that, I'd go to the snow every year, to a different place every year, right? But then when I got with my wife, then she's like, we're going to a different country every year. And that was with the kids now, because we had kids pretty quick. Like a year and a half in, we had kids pretty quick, and we were taking the kids wherever we went. So that helped, that helped a lot. A lot. So my kids now have been shaped by those experiences, in terms of their personality, what they eat, because they eat everything.
That's good. They're not picky.
They try anything, and I have, I get some issues with people that don't travel going because they only eat the same thing. They only go to the same place. Try something else, man.
Yes.
Try Peruvian food. It's awesome.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable, and so many amazing things will happen to you. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't want to listen to me, listen to the legend here, Guy Hagi. So did you want to mention anything else? Did you want to leave some words of wisdom from the great mind of Guy Hagi?
No, that's above my pay grade, Kamanka. Just I appreciate everybody's support all these all these years. I mean, I couldn't have gotten to where I was without familial support. So mahalo to all my family. But everybody in Hawaii is really, really nice. When people run into me, even if they have something bad to say, either they don't say it or they choose to say something nice, which they might not even mean sometimes. So thank you for treating me so well. I mean, it's been a long career, and hopefully, it hasn't ended yet.
Yeah. How long do you think you'll be doing it? Are you going to be like Tom Brady and play forever?
Well, if I can play to his level. I know you're not a Brady fan, but that guy, crazy what he's doing.
Oh, no, I respect him at so many levels. Same with LeBron James. You might not be a LeBron James fan, you might not be a Brady fan, but you cannot not respect what they've done.
I mean, and what they continue to do. Yes. I mean, it's insane. So anyway,
crazy.
but that doesn't come without a lot of preparation, a lot of hard work, a lot of clean living, and hopefully I can do that. But so far they're still signing the check, so I'm good.
So when you do retire, whenever that is, what would you want to do? I know you said you're getting into F1.
Yeah, but that's just as a spectator, right? I love watching F1. That's the race car.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to drive one?
No. That's I've only found out about F1 recently, and that there's only 20 drivers.
Oh, really?
That's all there is. 20 drivers.
It's Italian?
No, 20 drivers, 20 cars.
Okay.
So it's teams from around the world: Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and teams like that, right? Yeah. Multi-million dollars. These guys, like, say for example, Mercedes. They have a crew, a company of 1,000 people only working on 2 cars.
Wow.
That's all they do.
That's insane.
The guy's making multi-millions of dollars moving this show around Europe, and once in America, once in Japan, once in Singapore. They have 22 races around the world. It is insane. So I love watching it, but not something I do. So to answer your question, probably something less active, but still probably surf and morph into something. People trying to get me to foil.
Oh yeah.
Because they said it's easier on your knees. So maybe
looks hard, though.
it's hard. I'm afraid of the learning curve.
Yeah.
I don't know. So something to do with ocean. Maybe go diving more often. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Something active though. Something to take advantage of. The best weather on the planet.
Yes, definitely. Well, I just want to say mahalo to you for coming on and sharing your story and giving us another perspective and view on yourself. Because that's what this is all about. That's what the podcast is for, just to get into these deeper conversations and shine a new light on the local figures and people who've really had an impact on our community, just like you.
All right, well, thanks, Kamanka. Again, very flattered and honored to be here, and I'm really impressed by you and all that you have done. Man, incredible stuff. See what education can do, people, and travel. Go get them. Again, mahalo, Kamanka.
So real quick, I do want to say education is important, but I did not learn the most things in life from college, from from going through university, the university system, traveling, just being out, life in general, talking to people in English and Malagasy and Spanish just opens your mind to so many different things, and you learn so much. So that's why I really encourage just getting out and whatever. And if you want to get a degree, if that's what you think helps you, then go for it. If you want to just go into a career just like Guy did, and maybe you'll find what you really love to do, and that's totally okay. There's no right or wrong. So dudes, follow your heart and you end up perfect, like where you're supposed to be.
I agree with all of that. Just don't use it as an excuse to like slough off.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If you have a passion and you go after it 100%, you'll be successful.
Yeah. And it's never too late to pursue something. Some authors didn't write their first book to like 50, 60. Some great people who invented things didn't invent it to like 70. My mom, shout out to mom, she went back to school when she was late 30s, I think, with 5 kids. She went back and became a nurse.
See, so that's the genes you got. Yeah, awesome.
Well, that's the work ethic, I think. That's from my mom. And then I also have a great Ohana, very supportive. So, yeah, we're just very blessed to live here.
Yeah, we are.
The weather, Ohana, food, everything. So, yeah, awesome. All right, so, again, mahalo. And I kind of don't want to end this because I'm having such a good conversation, but we'll get on with this day. Looking outside is just making me want to get outside. So mahalo, Guy, for joining us on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Check us out on Hawaiiverse.com, the best place to support locals. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and you'll hear me next time on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Ahui ho.